next Monday on CBS and streaming on Paramount Plus.
Coming up, how Eastern Kentucky University is helping relieve the national pilot shortage.
Dedicated to Eastern and Southern Kentucky, this is WYMT Mountain News at 11.
Good evening, I'm Steve Hensley. A national pilot shortage could mean a lot of job opportunities for young college students to consider here in Kentucky. Eastern Kentucky University offers an aviation program that is very popular now and could garner even more students. That's because many commercial airline pilots are close to retirement age. As WYMT's Phil Pendleton explains, there's not enough young pilots to replace the retiring ones.
In the last 3 to 4 years, the enrollment in EKU's aviation program has doubled. In fact, it's almost tripled.
Traditional 17, 18-year-old young high school graduate that has never flown a day before comes to our program, and we get them all the way through.
That means all the FAA certifications to fly private to commercial aircraft. In 2018, Eastern purchased their first aircraft, and since then they've grown to a fleet of 31 planes.
We're trying to fill that void of qualified pilots to those regional airlines.
With many more older, experienced pilots retiring, those airlines are then going to look for regional airports to replace those pilots, meaning that the job opportunities here locally are going to be open. That's good news for college graduates. Many graduates start out flying regional jets but can quickly move up to fly the big jumbo jets in 3 to 4 years. More retiring pilots means the pathway to promotion is much faster too.
We have some outstanding faculty members, some outstanding flight instructors. The university supports us very, very well.
A degree in aviation does require some skills in math, science, and physics, but Senate says they're going to do everything they can to make sure their students succeed so their career can take off. In Madison County, Phil Pendleton, WYMT Mountain News.
Senate says Eastern graduates about 60 students a semester, and hundreds of them are now flying for every major airline in the United States.
Well, it continues to be a warm one outside, at least for the moment, but the cool air continues to filter back in. Here's where we ended up today, actually not very warm. You see those temperatures, a couple areas got into the 60s, but many of us stayed in the middle and upper 50s. Here, if we can get that to move, it's nighttime and not that dark. 43 here in Hazard. We continue to see temperatures fall. 37 already in Irvin, 40s region-wide. We'll see those temperatures continue to drop down into the 20s and 30s. A freeze warning in effect for many of us east of Interstate 75. A frost advisory in effect west of there, plus Powell, Estill, and Menifee counties, so we'll continue to see that work on in. Your forecast first into the morning or into the evening hours, zone by zone, chilly tonight down into the 30s. I think some of us are going to fall into the upper 20s, especially in those river valleys. Steve, I'll have the very latest on when some showers could try to return in a few minutes.
All right, Evan, thank you. A group of women in the Vico community of Perry County say they are trying to do their part in rebuilding after the July flood. WYMT's RJ Johnson explains.
A group of women from across the country are coming together in Vico to help rebuild after the July flood. They are a part of a group called the Sister Corps. They are retired and they help rebuild homes after natural disasters. Supervisor Darlene Altman says they try to help those that have nothing and receive nothing.
And we do. We try to come in and those are the people we look to find when we come in. We're the ones that have no insurance, they have nobody to help them, and they're just stuck.
Of their projects, one of them is rebuilding a disabled woman's ramp that was damaged in the July flood. Up until Sunday, she had not left the outside of her home since the flood.
Yeah, yesterday even I made the first time on the ramp. Oh, I love it. I love it. Oh, they've been wonderful. These ladies has been wonderful. You couldn't ask for no better. They have been wonderful ladies.
When asked why they do what they do, Altman says that answer is simple.
But it makes us feel good That's why we keep coming back and getting down on our knees and putting in flooring, and it's we've been painting, and we do lots of stuff, but we make new friends every time we come.
Trying to be a helping hand, Altman says the women are proud of what they have done and are excited for these people to return to their lives. In Vico, RJ Johnson, WYMT Mountain News.
The group says they've been there for 10 days and they're expected to finish their last project later this week. One Knott County group is continuing its flood relief efforts, hosting supply giveaways each week. Team Alma consists of Alma Eversole and other volunteers. The group has been distributing clothing, food, appliances, and other items. But Eversole says with some of their donors pooling their resources, she needs more organizations to donate items so they can continue their efforts.
I need other organizations that'll come in here and that'll help me. I have to make sure this stuff goes. You can stay with me all day. You can see where this stuff goes and talk to the people that gets it, and it helps them out.
The group did have extra hands earlier today as the Hardin County-based organization Putting Prayers to Action came to donate supplies and help distribute them. Private property flood debris removal provided by the state will be at no cost, but it will include some requirements. Landowners have to show proof of ownership and fill out a form allowing contractors to work on their property. Perry County Emergency Management Director Jerry Stacy says if multiple properties are involved, each owner has to apply.
So if you've got property, a home that's washed down and it's on your neighbor's property now, that would require both people in that process.
Stacy says time to utilize this program could be running out, so it's important to apply as soon as possible. With only a few weeks now until the May primary election, Perry County Clerk Wayne Napier says they are adding an additional location for folks to vote early. He says people will now be able to vote at the Perry County Public Library along with the courthouse. But he says they are not expecting a huge turnout for this election.
Had a clerks meeting in Lexington a couple weeks ago. Everybody's saying there'd probably be a low turnout for the primary. The Democrats don't have a lot of people running, but the Republicans do, so there'll probably be a lot of Republicans turn out.
Early voting begins on Thursday, May 11th and ends on Saturday, May 13th. The primary election day is Tuesday, May 16th. New tonight, the Southern Kentucky officer seriously hurt in a motorcycle crash is back at home. The Monticello Police Department says Officer Jeremy Thompson arrived at home today. Thompson was involved in a crash in Laurel County nearly 2 weeks ago. An SUV pulled in front of him on the Hal Rogers Parkway. He underwent several major surgeries. The police department says he still has a long road to recovery. Kentucky Department of Criminal Justice Training Commissioner Nikolai Gillette visited Officer Thompson this weekend. Gillette delivered a $2,500 check to help Thompson's family as he recovers. The money comes from a fund when Kentuckians choose to purchase a special license plate. Clay County Coroner Jared Becknell tells WYMT he is resigning effective immediately due to health and family reasons. In a Facebook post, Becknell said he served as deputy coroner for 8 years under former coroner Danny Finley and had served one full term in the role as coroner. He was recently reelected to a second term. In the post, he said, quote, "Being your coroner is no doubt a highlight of my life. Thank you for the confidence you've had in me." No word on who the next coroner will be yet in Clay County. We told you last week that Eastern Kentucky writer Silas House is set to become the state's Poet Laureate, and today it was official. The honor comes as Kentucky Writers' Day was celebrated in the Commonwealth. House is a best-selling author of several novels, including Clay's Quilt, A Parchment of Leaves, and several other works. During his acceptance speech, House talked about his humble upbringing, growing up in a mobile home here in the mountains.
While most of the world often told us that we were no good because of where we lived, my family taught me to always be proud of being country, being Appalachian, being Kentuckian.
And House has now been invited to read at the Library of Congress. We talked with House Friday about the honor, and you can find that story on WYMT.com if you missed it. One Floyd County student is running toward the state Special Olympics with a dream and the support of his community. John M. Stumbo 8th grader J.J. Johnson just brought home 2 first-place ribbons from the area's Special Olympics track and field competition. The teachers who helped coach the young runner says he gave it his all like he always does.
I promise he works probably even harder being a science student than he does an Olympic athlete. A tremendous kid.
Johnson will move on to compete in the state Special Olympics this summer. He says he will continue to work to be the best he can be by then. Coming up on Mountain News at 11, 2 Eastern Kentucky brothers are exploring a new frontier in the fashion industry.
And we continue to watch some chilly air tonight. That leads to potential for some showers later. Those details ahead.
It's time to spring forward in a new Toyota.